Penny Lou. Try changing it a bit. Oh, hang on. Oh, hello there. I didn't realize I was on. Hi there, Sadie. um, because I was going. Oh, I see. I was on. Hang on a second. Twitch is not allowing me to go on. Go live. Twitch says the title is invalid. Maybe because I used the word prostitutes, but it's true. They are transsexual prostitutes. I'm not judging, but that's what they are. So I've changed the title of Twitch to Pope Francis has lunch with transsexual citizens. Okay, maybe I got to remove the word transsexual. Maybe they've got words that they're not allowing used on Twitch with sinful, well, see, sinful citizens. The point I'm trying to make with this live stream, I've just discovered that Pope Francis has been involved with, and the Catholic Church has been involved with helping transsexual prostitutes. They started around COVID. You know, there was a great need, and they did a lot to help the women on the street that are earning a living the way they can only earn a living. And I was very happy. I just found the article. It popped up on my screen. I guess certain algorithms got to work, and I was thrilled. And they've had lunch in the past few days. So I wanted to do, you know, since the point of this channel is to try to get people from all different sectors of society, very religious people, very agnostic, atheist people. I want everyone who has open-mindedness to try to get everyone to get along. So that's why I have such a small number of people who follow me. And then I kind of think you're the diplomats. You go out there and try to bring us together somehow. Like I'm talking to my more Orthodox Christian friends, for example. Pope Francis is a great, you know, for me because he's willing to go outside what Orthodox Christians, you know, he's a little bit of a rebel in our, you know, maybe to some of you who are not religious or atheists, you think, oh, another Pope. But in our world, he is like, oh my gosh, did he really do like shockingly liberal for us? Which is a step in the right direction because like we get a Pope who's a little more liberal, we get an atheist who's slightly a little more accepting of religion for other people, you know, and it'll kind of bring us all a little closer together. So we're not so much infighting. Anyway, that's kind of my goal, but I can't get on Twitch. Let me see. Pope Francis has lunch with citizens. Let's see if they accept that. So Twitch is not letting me use a certain title, and I guess it's because of the words. Let's see. Let's try again. So I'm going to try to go live on Twitch. Twitch says, isn't it? Go live. I changed the title. Okay, now I'm live. I wasn't allowed to use the word transsexual or prostitute in the title on Twitch. I guess it's a younger crowd. And yeah, it is a bit of a shocking title. Granted, I was using a little bit of the shock factor to try to get people to come in. And it is shocking for a Catholic. Oh my gosh, what? But you know, but the point is, it's a good thing. He's trying to broach, you know, love with other people from different communities that need assistance. So, but anyway, what I was going to do is share the screen and read the articles because I've only seen the headlines and I watched one of the articles. My father's walking around. I'm going to close that door. And Oh, my baby, she fell down. Oh my gosh, oh my sweetness. I gave her a bath. She had a flea, and then she had another flea. And I gave her a bath, and I gave her a bath with regular shampoo. So, but I don't see any more fleas, and she smells good too. She had leftover Thanksgiving turkey this morning for breakfast, didn't she? And she had turkey yesterday too. I'm giving her a little bit of turkey with her meal while she's here. We're up in Massachusetts. It's a beautiful house my parents have up here. Okay, my darling, should I put you on the floor or you want to hang out? You'll hang out on my back. Okay. So has anyone come in other than I see Sadie? Oh, hi, Tatiana. And so far, 2 people. Okay, that's good. Maybe we'll. So let's share the screen and read some of these articles because I'm very excited about it. I love transsexual women. I mean, I love people of all, but the ones that I've met on YouTube, I haven't met them. I feel like they're my friends because I watch them. You know, there's a few that I really like. You know, they're just regular people. You know, they're not. You know, they get all kinds of names called, and there's a lot of regular transsexuals that whatever, whether or not you agree with they're really women, they're not really women. I would love to meet some of them in person someday if I could. You know, we have Ryan on this program who is he's doing drag shows now. I don't know if he's transsexual or not. I got confused, and it doesn't matter. We were talking about doing an interview, and it didn't happen, and it doesn't matter. I'm not going to pressure. I'm not going to push it. You know, if it comes up again, it will. But you know, so he's one example of someone that I like that I hope to meet someday. Then there's what is that lady's name? I forget her name, but she's adorable. I love her so much. And no, they didn't. Well, part of the time, my mother loves it up here. She's actually more of a northerner. She loves the north in the United States. I liked the warm weather to live, and they were down there, but now they're up here through December. I'm going back to Florida and Maryland. I kind of am jumping around now since they don't have steady work. I just applied online for something called data annotation. I have no idea what it is, but I filled out it's supposedly you were able to work remotely doing, I'm not sure what, but I applied. I filled in, you know, I think you have to be able to write, you know, decently, which I think I can. Anyway, I applied yesterday and, oh, somebody left. All right. So if I could work remotely, that would be perfect because then I could come here. I could be in Miami with my godson. Sometimes I could be in Maryland with my friend. I'm feeling love pulling me in different directions, and my mother's a lot happier here than she is. She likes Miami, okay, but now she's getting older and has dementia, and she's just happier here. And whatever, you know, we want her to be happy. So. And my father's happy wherever, you know, he likes the warm weather. But yeah, I'm wondering if they want to spend time up here, why would they choose winter to spend? But winter's beautiful in northern United States. Some of you are from there. I don't remember where you're from, Sadie. I agree. The camera angle is perfect. Yeah, I have a better camera. I've connected a separate camera. Is it the camera? Yeah, I'm using that one. I'm not using the computer camera, and I try to get the lighting right. And you don't see my wrinkles from this kind of lighting. And I put a little makeup on. You know, I bought this at a thrift shop, but it's beautiful. It was handmade by someone because there's no tag. You could tell somebody crocheted it at home. But I like the color, kind of a coral. So anyway, let me find it. Pope Francis had lunch with transsexuals. I just put that in the search. Now there's another one about Pope Francis that's saying people are mad at him because he said something, but he's a nice guy overall. Pope Francis lunch with transsexuals. I guess there's a special day for the poor at the Vatican. Holds Vatican luncheon with transgender women. That's on MSN. Yeah, there's a lot of, okay, let me share the screen so you can see what, and you all can search on your own. Josh Titus is quite Christian as well. I don't think he's Catholic, but And this is something Christians are going to have to, yeah, generally in Christianity, we don't, I personally do, I have no problem with it, but generally in Christianity, it's not accepted as it's considered a sin to be homosexual or whatever. And you can be Christian, but you have to completely be celibate or force yourself to marry someone you're not attracted to. I mean, yeah, I don't agree with that, but that's what the religion does say. However, um, we still have to be nice. So what I'm trying to do is appeal to my, like I said, my more orthodox friends to at least not be speaking so harshly. Whatever you think about it, whether you agree or not, we're taught you accept everyone, especially someone who's seeking Jesus. You don't judge them. If they need food, you give them food. If they need shelter, do the best you can. Shelter is kind of hard because the homeless shelters are full, but you know. And then there are other types of Christianity that do, the Protestant, there's many sects. I have to be careful when I say sects, sects, of Christianity that are more, liberal, and there are actually some that apparently do accept. There are some churches that do accept transsexual and homosexual. They would, I guess, be pretty far removed from the Catholic religion, but the point is, no judging. We do not judge. We help anyone who is hungry or thirsty. We have to give to them, and we, offer them, obviously, to follow Jesus if they want. If they don't, it's not their time. We're not supposed to push. And, that's what I think most religions should be like. But I can only speak for the Christianity. So, it was wonderful. Oh, yum. I ate too much. I ate so much I couldn't even eat the chocolate at the end. We had food, like all kind of sides, dessert. And then my brother pulls out a box of Godiva chocolates, and I couldn't even bring myself to eat one, and they're delicious. I'm not like a super chocoholic anyway, but a nice Godiva chocolate. Oh my gosh, I had a Whitman sampler before coming up here. Yeah, I like chocolate. And the thing is, when I start with the chocolate, though, I kind of get into it and I can't stop. But okay, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to read some of these articles to see what it's about. I did see one article. Pope Francis. Okay, I'm doing the search over here. Oh, 4 people now. Good. Thank you for coming in. So yeah, let's see what the quite liberal Pope. Okay, so Pope Francis holds Vatican luncheon with transgender women. Yeah, I read a better article in this, but we'll pick this first one. It's the Washington Examiner. I think that's a more conservative paper. So I'll read it. Pope Francis invited a group of transgender women to a Vatican luncheon late last week in celebration of the Catholic Church's World Day of the Poor. Too bad I missed that day. I don't keep track of our days. The group was among the 1,200 poor or homeless in attendance at the luncheon. Democrats forced to, that's another. The transgender community developed a stronger relationship with the Catholic Church when the strict COVID-19 lockdowns in the Italian town of Torvaianica led starving transgender sex workers to show up at Reverend Andrea Conocchia's local parish. See, they were desperate. They're starving. COVID, lockdown, they weren't getting business. And unfortunately, many transgender women turn to sex work. They have limited opportunities. They're often rejected, legally or not, rejected from certain sectors. They're harassed on certain jobs. So yeah, many transgender women, unfortunately, are forced. They have few choices, and we're not going to judge again. So, but during COVID, I'm just repeating what the article is saying. I didn't realize that they went out to seek help. Imagine how desperate a transgender woman must be to go to the Catholic Church for help. It's like, So anyway, so apparently they showed up at the parish asking for help because Catholic, we're supposed to have food pantries and help and give away food to the hungry and the homeless. So, So show up at Reverend Andrea Conocchia's local parish. Before the church was closed to us, they didn't see us as normal people. They saw us as the devil. One member of the group, Andrea Paula Torres Lopez, reportedly said. That's true. And unfortunately, I am ashamed to say that we're not supposed to be judgmental, but many times we forget what the true religion that is taught to Christians is don't judge. Yes, they're sinners. They even could say, yeah, I don't agree with it. Again, I want to make clear that I'm secular. But yeah, it's a sin to be homosexual or to be transgender or whatever. But even sinners, you are supposed to reach out to them, or if they reach out to you, you're supposed to welcome them with open arms and give them food and not judge. So that's the true Christianity. And unfortunately, yes, there are groups that have distorted it, and but thank goodness we live in a secular society where church and state is separate, as it should be. I agree with that. You can take certain morals or morality from all religions, because in theory, even the true Islam, I don't know much about Islam, but the true Islam is also supposedly supposed to not be a religion of war and stuff. But I it's hard to see it for me right now. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to focus on my own, what I know. Anyway, so before the church was closed to us, they didn't see us as normal people. They saw us as the devil. And yeah, and some perhaps still do, but yeah, the devil, as much a devil as all of us are. The devil, sinners. Okay, thanks to God and to him and all those who helped us in the pandemic when in bad shape. And on top of that, he is Argentinian like me. Yeah, and so am I. But that's not why I love this Pope. He is Argentine. As a matter of fact, because I have a healthy distrust of Argentine society, because I know the society. It's a lot of swindlers and stuff. So when he won they vote, I think they appoint him or whatever. But when it came out that he was going to be the new Pope, I even thought to myself, oh, please don't. I said, he's going to do something. He's going to bring shame to all of us, and they'll never consider an Argentine again for anything. But no, he's surprised me at how much I agree with him on a lot of things. Okay. Yeah, because also a lot of Latin Americans have left Latin America and gone to Italy and are living there for work or to try to make ends meet. Okay. The Vatican's dicastery for the doctrine of the faith issued guidance earlier this month. The transgender people can receive baptism. Oh, okay. And be godparents and witnesses at religious weddings. Okay. I didn't know that, but I'm happy to know that. If they're good people and, we need parents, you can be whatever you have. Some say it's a mental disorder to be transgender, that it's dysphoria or something. Let's say that it is, but it's not a dangerous condition. Yeah, oh, I think I'm a woman and I dress like a woman. Let's pretend, all that is true. It's a mental illness. Well, it's not a mental illness that's dangerous. Now, some would say, oh, yeah, but they also do X, Y, and Z children. No. I don't want to say the horrible thing that, the P word, people who try to get with kids. I'll leave it at that. That's not transgender people. That's every kind of person tries to do that. And that, of course, is wrong. But it's not specific to any one group. Unfortunately, there are people in the world who exist who do that. But, many of them are just, normal people who they think they're in the wrong body. And if that's as far as it goes, and they want to dress like women and all, but I always remember Maria Ortiz, the lady who does nails in New Jersey, long nail, some group that she started. I didn't even know she was transgender when I first started watching her, and she didn't advertise it. She was just did nails, and was living her life. And then I think when things started coming out about the, transgenders started having the courage to announce who they were, I guess she said, okay, well, it is something that needs to be addressed. And so she just said she was going to just come out, not because she was pressured to, but she's showing her to show that there are normal, I don't know, I'm talking too much here, but I'm going off on my tangent. Anyway, when she came out, it was sort of a, oh, really? Yeah, it was a little bit surprising because she is a heavy woman, uh, which sometimes happens when you take hormones. It causes you to gain weight. But she looked like a woman. I mean, I always thought she was just a big woman, and she's very feminine, a little rough, New Jersey rough. I think that's more to do with being from New Jersey than being transgender. But so it was like one kind of a, oh, really? Like a little bit of a surprise, and then carry on. And she's raising 2 foster children who we desperately need foster parents, and she has her own business and earns enough to support foster children and maybe gets a little help. But you never get enough money for foster care. Like if you take in a foster child, you do get some assistance from CPS, but it's never enough to cover everything. You really have to want to put of yourself. Sure, a little help doesn't hurt, but that's not the reason why people do foster care, or it should not be the reason. And yes, she did it because she wants to. And I can't think of, she's a better foster mother than I would be, who got no steady job. I don't even have a place to live yet on my own. And all right, let me keep going. You know what? This is okay, but I don't like this article. It's kind of boring. There was one that was a little better that I read, but anyway, let's go. Okay, let's watch this video. Hang on. Oh, let me check the chat, see if anyone else is coming. I have to run, but look forward to watching more videos soon. Okay, bye, Sadie. Who's here? One person. I bored everybody. You know why? Because I said I was going to talk about one. Wait a minute, you guys are not seeing what I'm seeing. All right, hang on. Here we go. Share this tab instead. Okay, here we go. We're going to watch this video. Let me go back here. Let me go, hang on. Go back here. Do that, right? Now, what are you guys seeing? Okay, now you're seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah, let's just watch the video. And I got to stop blabbing off on my tangents. You know how I am. Okay. I think the fact that Pope Francis allows us to approach baptism with this legislation, or to perhaps take care of our best friend's child, godparent, or friends who ask us to be the godmother, and Argentine sex worker Carla Segovia said of the Pope. Okay, let's watch this video. Transgender women say Pope made them feel more human. All I want to do is block my microphone. Hang on, I'm going to block my microphone.
Transgender women in Italy are about to sit down for lunch with Pope Francis. Carla Segovia says it's very exciting. They're joining more than 1,000 others on the Catholic Church's World Day of the Poor. It was an invite that seemed almost impossible until a rapprochement with the church that began during the global health crisis. The 86-year-old Pope Francis has tried to make the church more welcoming to the LGBT community without changing its teachings. Last week, the Vatican's doctrinal office said transgender people can receive baptism and be godparents at them too. They can also be witnesses at religious weddings. Segovia says those changes give her strength.
I think the fact that Pope Francis today allows us to approach baptism with this legislation, or to perhaps take care of our best friend's child, or of friends who ask us to be godfather or godmother, is something that makes us transgender people feel more human.
While LGBT rights advocates in the church welcomed the move, conservatives condemned it. They're accusing Francis of sending confusing signals about sexual morality to the faithful. The women live in a rundown beach town about 20 miles south of the Vatican. During the pandemic, while many were strapped for cash, the local parish reached out to the cardinal that runs the Pope's charities. Along with money, the cardinal arranged for help with food and vaccinations. Claudia Victoria Salas is originally from Argentina and a former sex worker.
Io hemos arrivado a la parroquia de Don Andrea.
We came to Father Andrea's church to ask for help. From that moment, Father Andrea always helped
Abrió la
us.
puerta.
He opened the door. He brought us food. From there, our friendship was born, as they say in Italian.
Come si dice in italiano.
She's referring to the parish's pastor, Father Andrea Conachia, or she calls him Saint Andrea.
Figlie amate.
He says the women feel like beloved daughters. His parish's pandemic help eventually led to Sunday's lunch invite. Conachia also attended, arriving on a bus with the women as well as dozens of poor people from the parish. Out of all of the attendees, Salas found herself sitting right across from the Pope himself. She says she feels grateful and fulfilled.
Per me questa risposta è un poco difficile perché
For me, it is a bit difficult to answer
tenemos tutto, no? Non podemos.
because I think we already have everything. We cannot ask for more
Gracias al Papa Francesco tenemos tutto, no?
because thanks to Pope Francis, we have everything. We must not be selfish.
Paciencia.
We must be patient. I am 55 years old. I have waited all my life, and now I have everything I need.
Okay, so good. Are you interested in doing any more collaboration? Oh, I'm missing all this stuff in the chat. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Let me see what I missed. Okay, good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. I agree with the camera angle, blah, blah, blah. I live in the province Ontario in Canada. Oh, Sadie, I guess you left already. How was Thanksgiving? It was great. I liked mom and dad's outfit. Oh, yeah, I put the post on Instagram. Are you interested in doing any more collaborations? Yes, of course. I love the idea of it. No pressure, just chatting. Yeah, no pressure. And if you think you want to and then change your mind, no pressure either. It's very just basic chat, you know. I have to run, but I look. Yeah, so Katie, yeah, if you want to do a collab. Yeah, I like to have a topic just to, have an idea. But the one with Josh was fun. We did the sour candy. But you know what? That sour candy, oh gosh, I'm going off on the tangents again. But that sour candy kind of loses its effect once you open it, I think. Because then I tried another one a couple days later, and it was sour, but it wasn't like overwhelming. So I think once you open it, maybe the humidity gets to it. Maybe it depends where you live. But so mine was not very sour after. I mean, it was sour, but it wasn't. Like I said, it wasn't overwhelming like it was when I first tried it. But anyway, Pope Francis hold that. Okay, so Pope Francis, the one I read was more, I mean, it depends how it's written. For this group, yeah, the message, this is the one. I saw the ABC News one. Okay, for this group, oh, let me share that screen. I keep forgetting. Hang on. And I've got one contact lens in. Share screen. For this group of trans women, that's the one. For this group of trans women, that's the one you're watching, right? Okay. For this group of trans women, the Pope and his message of inclusivity are a welcome change. Pope Francis is the hashtag. Pope Francis is hosting a special lunch for more than 1,000 poor people to mark the Catholic Church's World Day of the Poor. That was November 19th. So Claudia Victoria Salas, the one we saw in the other article, and Carla Segovia, both transgender women from Argentina, walk along the seafront in Torvainica, Italy, Thursday, November 16th, 2023. Pope Francis' recent gesture of welcome for transgender Catholics has resorted strongly in this working-class seaside town of Rome, where a community of trans women has found help and hope through a remarkable friendship with the pontiff forged during the darkest times of the pandemic. Torvainica, Italy, Pope Francis' recent gesture of welcome for transgender Catholics. I'm so insecure, I wonder y'all can hear me. This is the Ramble Scramble. It's okay to go on a tangent. Yeah, exactly. Hi, Owen. Curious if you have any thoughts on Argentina's new president. I haven't followed up much. I didn't pay much attention. I think any change is good, but the thing is, it's not the first time in Argentina, wow, we're the new party of hope. And then it's just another corrupt party or another corrupt president or whatever. So, you know, hope for the best, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. You know, it could be just another corrupt, in Argentina, you always vote for the one who seems like they will be the less corrupt, but you expect them all to be corrupt. It's sort of, in the US, yeah, we have corruption here too, but we're shocked. It's like a shocking thing when someone is corrupt. Where in Argentina, I've said this before, you'll say, yeah, well, but this one isn't as bad as the last one. This one only stole X million, whereas the last one stole, more millions from the government or, one lady, I don't want to say her name. She's such a horrible person. But she did some good things, and, they stole it. She did a few good things too, I guess, but she stole lots of money, cash. This whole Bitcoin thing is a way to launder money, and now they've started. They've been controlling Bitcoin now. That the government has gotten involved in the U.S. and in other parts of the world. It's what do you call it? You're regulating it. But before, it's just a way to launder money. You invent a currency. A few, enough people agree on it, so it becomes, and then they send the currency. It goes undetected because nobody knows, and then you change it back into the currency to the country you laundered it to. It's all, art. When people buy art, that's a way to launder money. This Hunter Biden was selling $50,000 pieces of art. He never painted at least not professionally, and suddenly it's people donating money and they were getting kickbacks under the table. That's a common way to launder money. Art. Unfortunately, there's also legitimate art that is worth, what it is. But, if some brand new painter is selling paintings for $40,000, $50,000, that's money laundering. Or however, no, how much did he sell those Hunter Biden paintings for? That was pure money laundering, probably even human trafficking in there. Now, how do I prove it? How does anyone prove it? Oh, I'm just an art collector. I thought it was a nice piece of art, or, I just bought, let me see, my tangent, Hunter Biden painting price. I thought it was 40,000, or was it million? I don't even remember. Sort of like I saw it and I was like, oh, that's like common in Argentina. Like here, people wouldn't consider it, 225,000 Hunter Biden painting is selling for the price of a house. That was in 2022. What experience did he ever have with painting? He was into drugs. He was into women. Now I'm going to paint this painting and people are buying it for 220. Pure money laundering. What training? Let's look that up now. What training does, okay, here we go. Hunter Biden have in art? Let's see, the truth about Biden's career as an artist. Well, let's find something is Hunter Biden's art any good? Of course, the liberals, since they like Biden, they'll say, oh, yes, it's excellent quality art. And the whole gallery was laundering money. Hunter Biden has become a full-time artist. Okay, that was back in 2016. I don't know. I'm not going to go off on a tangent now, but it's crazy. All right. Pope Francis, where was I? Oh, I closed the screen that we were reading. So all of Argentina's social problems and switched currency to US dollar. Yeah, that's been done before. Yeah, a lot of those social programs, it's all corrupt. It's all corrupt. But yeah, switch the currency to US dollars. That was done under Menem, and it worked for a couple of years. But it's a fake. They tied the dollar to the whatever currency they happen to be on, because they switch the currency every few years because the inflation is hyperinflation. So they come up with a new currency, and it's just, you have to, if you become an economist, like if you want to study economics, there's an entire class, or there should be, but I believe there is, on Argentine, because Argentina has everything you can do to an economy has been done in Argentina. And it's never going to work until the people's mentality changes. They're a corrupt society. The mentality of all of us, including myself, because when I'm down there, I have to be corrupt like them. Otherwise, you can't survive. You know, you become the shtup. You know, so it's, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, tying the dollar, that's going to improve the economy. Now, the dollar's not very strong anymore because now we're competing with BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, Saudi Arabia. No. BRICS, who are the countries? Brazil, Russia, India. What's the R? Wait, Brazil, Russia, India. Something was the C, and S is South Africa. What was the C for? China. Okay, and Saudi Arabia is into BRICS, and then Argentina joined BRICS. So there's something weird there too, because BRICS is their own currency, and they're trying to keep the dollar out of it. Now, Argentina joined the BRICS group of countries, and now they're going to switch to dollars. They're playing two ends of the candle. Oh, no surprise. Argentina cares about Argentina. You know, now we can take the whole country, and then within Argentina, why the heck would they be switching to dollars if they joined BRICS? Now that doesn't make, I didn't even know that part. Now you got me on a whole tangent here. If Argentina, and like I use Google like the magic 8-ball, but if Argentina is a member of BRICS, because you have BRICS and then you have the countries that joined. Saudi Arabia did join. They joined it. They're not in the acronym. Saudi Arabia has joined. Argentina has joined. I think maybe Chile. Countries that hate America joined without a second thought. They want to destroy the dollar. So by them using their own currencies and keeping the de-dollarizing, they're trying to sink our economy. And Biden is not very smart, or he doesn't even take that into consideration. And Trump knows it, but yeah, I'm not saying Trump is any better for helping us, but he at least is aware of that, and he knows how people manipulate the economy. He's a businessman. So if there's a way to fight against it, let me see, if Argentina is a member of BRICS, way off on the tangent now, why would they dollarize? Because Menem did that, and it helped the economy, but it was forced. The dollar was worth way more than the peso, but they tied the peso to the dollar. So whatever the dollar was worth was a dollar, the peso was a dollar, but it was forced because inflation happens when supply exceeds demand. No, the other way around. When demand exceeds supply, or vice versa. I took economics. So they were forcing it because the supply and the demand were not the same as it was in the US, but they were forcing it to be a dollar to a dollar. So at one point, prices in Argentina were ridiculously high. So were the salaries to keep up with it, but it was all fake. And they would just basically print money, not printing, you can create money out of the blue on the internet. And I'm not a, I took a few economics 101 courses, but it's not, you can't just say, okay, we're going to use dollars now, and whatever the dollar's worth in the US is the same as worth here. You can't do that because supply and demand is different in each country. And unless you become a colony of the United States, like Puerto Rico, you can't do it. And I wish I could explain it better in layman's terms, but I need to know more about economy too. But I know the basics. And if you live in Argentina, you learn about economy by default, because if you're forced to learn, you know, otherwise why would they dollarize? Wait a minute, why would they dollarize? If Argentina is a member of BRICS, why would they dollarize? And I spelled Argentina wrong, so. Dollar plan for Argentina be an economic. Other countries, Panama and Ecuador, have gone down this route, but never one as big as Argentina. And Argentina's done it before. So yeah, you know, it's nothing. Maybe to foreigners, it seems like, wow, what a different guy. But he's just someone with a new spiel that, you know, I'll have to look more into it. For now, I can't. Right now, I'm thinking that he's going to just dollarize. It's been done before, and it worked for a few years, and then it threw Argentina to another crisis, because at one point, you can no longer falsely keep the dollar and the peso at the same price, because they're two different economies. There's I'm getting so angry right now. I've been around almost 60 years. Well, so have you, Owen, I believe. I don't remember, but I believe you're like up there around my age. But no, Argentina's, what a disaster. It's a disaster of a country. It's a disaster. And yeah, let's see what happens. That's what I was wondering. The US dollar is eventually going to crash. That's another thing. We're crashing now, fighting against BRICS. Argentina is going to play two ends of the candle. They're in with BRICS, so they're kissing their ass. They're kissing US ass. And whichever of us comes out ahead, they're going to jump on that boat. And maybe that's a smart president. Maybe for Argentina, maybe that's the right thing to do. You know, I'm angry as a foreigner because he's not being loyal, you know, but you know what? The job of a government is to do what's right for their country. So if that's going to work for Argentina, and if he's legitimately caring about Argentina, then maybe it'll work out. Yeah, I see him playing two ends of the candle, or playing both sides. And he's going to see which one. It's like not putting all your eggs in one basket. You know, let's take it from the positive side. If he's a good man and not being corrupt, he's going to not put all his eggs in one basket. He's going to say which stronger country wins the economic war. And then he'll, you know, this way he's got the dollar for now, which is strong in Argentina. And when the dollar crashes, they're a member of BRICS, so they can quickly flip their economy to get into the BRICS countries. So I guess I was getting angry as an American because he's like, oh, he's trying to dollarize when I just know that they just joined BRICS. But, you know, I'll look into it more. I am curious as to it, because when Menem dollarized, that was back in the 1990s, early 90s. Yeah, the very end of 1980 or early 90s, President Menem dollarized the economy. And it was wonderful for a few years. And the smart people hoarded dollars because they knew it was going to crash eventually. Everyone else was like, oh, new times for the country, and they didn't plan. I thought to myself, the smart Argentines, now that everything's going great, the dollar's, you know, the 1-to-1, now is the time that a smart Argentine will be buying and hoarding dollars under the mattress, you know. But then the actual dollar bills, yeah, there's a way to screw that up too, though, because then the dollar bills, we switch them. So now the old dollars are not worth as much as the new dollars with the stripe, you know, to avoid counterfeiting. And anyway, let me read this article about Pope Francis, and then I'll leave it at that. Video, share screen. Pope Francis, I think I wanted to do, actually I'll switch. The ABC one was nice. The group of trans women and this that was the one I read that I really liked the way it was written. Let me switch to that one. Okay, yeah. For this group of trans women, the Pope and his message of inclusivity are a welcome change. Pope Francis is hosting a special lunch for one woman. We saw that already. Yeah, this is already before the fact, before the lunch was had. Pope Francis' recent gesture of welcome for transgender Catholics has resonated strongly in the working class seaside town of Rome, where a community of trans women has found help and hope through a remarkable relationship with the pontiff forged during the darkest times of the pandemic. Thanks to the local parish priest, these women now make monthly visits to Francis, Wednesday general audiences where they are given VIP seats. On any given day, they receive handouts of medicine, cash, and shampoo. When COVID-19 struck, the Vatican bussed them into its health facility so that they could be vaccinated ahead of most Italians. Yeah, because they're exposed more than anyone to people. They have to be kissing their customers, I assume, and doing all. They're at very much at risk of transferring the disease. So, the first ones to be vaccinated should be the ones who are having, close contact, whether it be in nurses in the hospitals or prison inmates or prostitutes. So that was the right thing to do for the health of society. You're not going to stop them by telling, oh, that's wrong to be a prostitute. You're not going to stop them. They're still going to do it. They're going to sin, in quotes. So let's protect society and other, you could see it from that perspective, So that was good. I'm very proud that, I'm not a Catholic really anymore, but that's my training in Catholicism. I'm very proud to be a Catholic reading this article. I'm not proud other times, but right now, if this is the direction the Catholic religion is headed, which is usually led by the Pope, then I'm very happy about it. Okay, the menu was evidence of Francis' belief that those most on the margins must be treated with utmost dignity. Another thing we're taught, that Jesus washed the feet of the I don't remember who. He washed somebody's feet. Jesus humbled himself. He's here to serve. He was here to serve. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, the menu was evidence of Francis' belief that those most on the margins must be treated with utmost dignity. Cannelloni pasta filled with spinach and ricotta to start. My mouth is watering. Meatballs in a tomato basil sauce. See, this is a more interesting article. And cauliflower puree and tiramisu with petit fours for dessert. Hey, I want to go eat at the Pope's house. For the marginalized trans community of I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing. But for the marginalized trans community of Torvanica, it was just the latest gesture of inclusion from a Pope who has made reaching out to the LGBTQ community a hallmark of his papacy in word and deed. I'm going to skip anything about Gaza right now. Before the church was closed to us, they didn't see us as normal people. We read that in the other thing. They saw us as the devil. Then Pope Francis arrived. Francis' latest initiative was a document from the Vatican's Doctrine Office asserting that under some circumstances, transgender people can be baptized and can serve as godparents and witnesses in weddings. It followed another recent statement from the Pope himself that suggested same-sex couples could receive church blessing. No, that is way outside of what Catholics tend to have been taught. I'm not going to judge because I don't mind that, but I don't know how he's going to work that into him being Catholic. So, but I hope he manages, the way I work it in is, okay, Catholic religion says they're sinners. Okay, yes, they're sinners. We still have to be nice to them. That's as far as I can go without starting to I'm going to have to work on how I can rectify, because if my goal is for extreme Orthodox Christians to reach more towards the moderate and middle, we have to have a logical explanation. And I don't see how you can logically explain the Catholicism, which, yes. Now, again, remember, I'm not saying this. I'm just repeating what the Catholic religion says. They are sinners if they don't find Jesus and accept Jesus. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I kind of don't think is fair about the Catholic religion. You could spend all your life doing good deeds, being a good person. Let's say, if you want, be a heterosexual, doing good deeds, working hard, helping the poor, giving to homeless and charities, and you still might not get into heaven. Whereas you could be a horrible person your whole life, committing sin, whatever sin you want to call it, whatever you consider, whatever they call sin. Then, like, if a second before you die, you truly, now it can't be fake, you have to truly accept Jesus as your savior, you go to heaven. So I don't know, it doesn't seem fair, but you know, that's what they teach us. So in that respect, yeah, you can baptize, you know, and when you're supposed, you know, it's so strict that I can't follow the religion because I'm definitely going to hell. I mean, according to Catholic religion, because you know, I've committed, and I don't regret some of the sins in quotes that I've committed, you know, like gluttony. I don't regret it. I say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but I don't regret it. I enjoyed my gluttonous, you know, overeating at Thanksgiving. That's a sin. If you overeat and enjoy it too much, that's a sin. That's one of the deadly sins, actually. There's only 7. Murder isn't one of them, but overeating and enjoying it is. So, you know, I'm not making fun of the Catholic religion. I understand the reasoning behind it because you're a glutton, you're overeating, you're enjoying it too much, which is another thing of Christianity. You have to feel guilty when you have too much fun. So I love the Catholic religion, but yeah, or Christ, I don't know if that's Christianity, if that's Catholic. I believe Christianity in general, but Catholics, you just feel guilty no matter what you do, you know, which is it's good. It's good to appreciate. It's good to recognize that, like, if you're eating well when you've had people starving to death, you know, to feel a little bit of guilt is not a bad thing. Look, all that gluttony, that might be part of it. You're committing all that gluttony and filling yourself to you're almost bursting and enjoying yourself. And then you have people starving to death in some other parts of the world or even in your own town. So, you know, I can see that as being a sin. You know, why don't you not do that? And whatever that excess food that you overate on, you know, I don't know, package it up or whatever. But it's the you know, not literal, but the what do you call it? The other sense. You know, or donate. Yeah, maybe those people committing gluttony haven't even donated to the food pantry or something. So a little bit of healthy guilt, I think, is a good thing. But you know, to the point where, like, everything you do, you feel guilty. It's, you know, because when I went to Catholic school, although I wasn't a 100% believer, but I did start to see, oh yeah, well, look, I'm doing this, but look, that person didn't get any, and you know, and it's good. It kind of helps you be more generous sometimes. But yeah, if you're doing all this good stuff your whole life, but you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. So that's the part where I kind of can't really prescribe to it. All right. Well, supposedly you go to purgatory if you didn't commit one of the 7 deadly sins. Now you could commit the 7 deadly sins and repent, and then you can go to heaven. You know, that you have a chance always, but I don't know. It's I got to be a little less extreme Christian if I'm going to follow Christianity. So, all right. Prominent LGBTQ organizations have welcomed France's message of inclusivity, given gay and transgender people have long felt ostracized and discriminated against by the church that officially teaches that homosexual acts are intrinsically disordered. Yeah, we have been taught that, and some gay people have been told that they're going to hell if they don't stop, you know, being homosexual, or if they don't. They can still go if they accept Jesus as the Savior and are celibate. That's like you can still be gay in your mind, but as long as you don't act on it, you know, which I can imagine is very difficult. But I think that does mess up certain people. It's difficult for them because maybe they really are gay and they're in the Catholic Church and they love the church and they want to, and they try to be celibate, you know, and they sometimes have even forced themselves to marry a woman, let's say it's a gay man, you know, and have children and do what's supposed to be done. But I mean, I imagine, you know, some of them just give up at some point, because how long can you resist, you know, if you fall in love with someone, and how long can you resist that? I imagine myself, if I were, you know, I am heterosexual, but if I were forced because it was normal to marry another woman and have, you know, raise children or, you know, adopt, I don't know how you would do it, but I can't see how I could, unless I had an agreement with the person and say, look, let's pretend to be, no, but even so, just staying celibate to when, let's say you fall in love with someone, in my case, it would be, I fall in love with a man, but I'm with the woman because that's, just to switch places with the person is what I'm trying to say. It's just the same for them, but the opposite. All right. Homosexual and physically disordered. Yeah, I mean, normal. Yeah. Generally, you have a man and a woman, and most people and most in the animal kingdom are a man, a female and male. And it's actually normal in the animal kingdom for the male to have many, many partners to spread himself. So we expect men in the Catholic religion to stay faithful to one woman, which is doable, I believe, if you fall in love and all that. But it's a lot less natural for a man, to do that. Okay, anyway. He can love one woman emotionally, but staying physically loyal to a woman is very difficult for most men. And great if you do it. I think that's awesome. Any men out there who are doing that, that's wonderful. But so I don't know. Yeah, we are supposed to resist to a certain extent what's natural, because we're supposed to be civilized. But how far do you take it? And especially when you're not hurting anyone. Like a man who cheats on his wife, that's painful. That is hurting someone. But two consenting adults that are loyal to each other and raise a family and they're loyal to each other, they're not hurting anyone, and they're actually helping by forming a stable. I always go back to that. They're forming a stable, assuming they're both consenting adults, normal as far as, they just love only each other and that's it, and only are doing things with each other. I don't see how that hurts anyone. And it forms a stable home life for the children that they may adopt, which we desperately need, And they should, of course, let their children, not pressure them either to be one way or the other. Just let them grow up loving whoever they want to love, And generally, I don't think that having two women parents or two men parent is going to make your child any less likely or more likely to be heterosexual. They're just going to grow up with what they feel, and of course you're not going to be pushing them towards one or the other. But I think generally most children that you raise just with a, normal life are usually going to turn out heterosexual, just because that's what most people are. And if they happen to be gay, it's not because they had gay parents, it's because, but again, you should not be. That's one thing I am against, the whole teaching gender stuff when they're little. Just boys and girls, period. Now, if it turns out you have a kid that's not fitting into that, okay, you deal with it at that time. But you don't tell them that, oh, you can be a boy, or you just let them go to school. And little girls, you dress them in pink and dress them like little girls. If she rejects it on her own, okay, then you say, okay, if you want to wear pants, but don't be telling them that you can do whatever you, and I believe there should be a little pushback at first. If it becomes overwhelming, like in the case of Jazz Jennings, she's the most famous child, transgender. In her case, her parents did say, no, you're not wearing a dress out. You're a little boy. You need to be, they did do that at first. And I think you should do that at first if they're going outside of their gender. I don't think that, oh, I want to wear a dress out today. I don't think you automatically say, okay, you can do that. No, you're a little boy. You wear this. That's my opinion. Now, if he continues to insist, and it becomes, as in the case of Jazz Jennings, who he would throw, but at the time was a little boy, would throw tantrums. It wasn't just, no, you're not wearing a dress out. You have to wear pants like little boys wear. Her parents are normal people. They get all these people saying, oh, they pressured her to be. No, I think the little girl just happened to be born. And I do wonder, and I hope I'm not sounding too old, but I do wonder sometimes if there's something in, I don't want to say it's in the vaccines or in the water, but is there something making kids transgender more than before, or are there really that many? Or now, yeah, I think it's now a style. It's become a style now. But yeah, I'm going way off on a tangent again, but it is about transgenderism. I think you need to give some pushback at first. And then, yeah, if the child continues to insist and as the child grows, they continue, okay, well, you say, oh, well, that's how the kid turned out, you know. But, and yeah, we definitely need to have not so much judgment against those poor children who truly are transgender, because it's not fair that they get bullied in school, you know, and all that. That's wrong. So, anyway. But yeah, I think that two gay parents are not going to make them any more or any less likely to be what they're going to be when they grow up. Anyway, back to my, where am I? Anything in the chat? Does not only align with the, that's why I say I'm spiritual really instead of religion. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine that Jesus would send us to hell. I don't know. And I can't remember what purgatory is. I think that purgatory is your chance to make up for what you messed up in life. So you don't go straight to hell yet. You still get another chance. But it starts to sound a little bit like you're explaining to children, which is what religion is. That doesn't mean now religion of any kind of religion, it's kind of layman's terms for what's bigger, you know. And it doesn't mean it's fake, but it is maybe, you know, kind of Santa Clausized for us regular people, you know, because people who really have that connection with God may need to explain it into terms that humans can understand. They do their best, you know, but it's, yeah, in a way that, but no, but I believe he's there. I believe I found him, you know, in the past, yeah, I was already over 40. I started growing closer. I started seeing signs around me, you know, and some would say, oh no, you're just because you're crazy or whatever. But no, just nature. Usually when I was in nature, I would, like one day I was like, there has to be a God. I mean, look at a coconut, for example. How did, you know, there's intelligence behind the coconut. There's even like I was trying to do it, but you messed it up. You get a coconut, a fresh coconut, right off the tree. You peel off the fiber. You have that coconut. It's filled with water, fresh, pure water, the purest water that's never touched air. And you pull off the root, and it sounds like a Coca-Cola opening. That little sound, because that's what a coconut is. It's a Coca-Cola, a natural. Oh, it's not a Coca-Cola because it's not fizzy, but it's a soft drink, but right off the tree in the can, but it's a coconut. You know what I mean? It's like a one for, oh, it's my mommy. Okay. Yeah, I'm talking to my friends. Or for example, you know, Miami, if you move to Florida, like if you were never into nature, you move to Florida. I mean, you gotta like lizards, or you gotta not be scared of lizards because they're everywhere. But all kinds of different lizards that people had as pets. They're not even supposed to be in Florida, but people had pets and let them go. And there's so many different kinds of lizards. You can catch them and keep them if they're not the native lizards. But anyway, just you see all this nature there. The Everglades is amazing. And I just started, and then when I went to the south of Argentina, I was like, only God, only some intelligence could have created this. Okay, let's not call him God if you want, but there is something that had to plan all this stuff, you know, and what atheists will say, well, it just happened. I mean, it just happened. You see, it doesn't just happen, you know. Sure, we don't know enough about how it all came from, but some intelligence made all of this natural world that we live in. You know, how things are preserved over the centuries and the millenniums, the dinosaurs preserved in tar pits so that we could find out what was there. Now with global warming, whether you like it or not, the glaciers are melting and they're discovering things that we never would have found underneath the ice. You know, I don't. So yeah, I'm going to call it God. You know, we could call it a different name, but anyway, I'm talking too much. The human spirit has a sexual identity is not always aligned with the physical sex. Yeah, mainly. And usually, I don't know if you agree with me there, Owen, usually it's heterosexual. Usually it's a man is in a man's body and a woman is in a woman's body and they're attracted to the opposite sex. Usually that's what causes procreation, you know, but yeah, of course you'll have the ones in the middle or the ones who don't align with their sex or their sexual attraction or their body. And there's a reason they're here too. Maybe they're here to, you know, for example, what I found with a gay friend that I ended up fighting with him, and we had a girl fight. That's the thing. We had a girl fight. We never spoke again. It was maybe, you know, it was time to end our friendship anyway, but year 2000. Yes. So that was 23 years ago. We went on a trip together. There was a little bit of, you know, girl fighting stuff. It was, and anyway, but we had been friends before that, very good friends. And what I found in him was like understanding of how men think, for example, without obviously there was no sexual attraction. So he was just honest with me because gay men who are attracted to other men think exactly the same as straight men do, but are attracted to women, but it's the same mentality. And the thing with gay men is they're both men. So there's maybe, although I'm sure there's pain and anguish and all that, you may not have as much of that emotional pain that a woman has when she's, you know, cheated on by a man or whatever. Because it's just two men that understand, well, this is how it is. We love each other, but we were attracted to others, so we slipped. But okay, I understand, but you still love me, right? So that was more of, although he himself got cheated on by someone he loved very much. And that it actually did hurt him. But, you know, so it does happen. But, you know, I don't know. But anyway, I found in him, he was able to console me many times and explain to me, yeah, well, that guy, you know, men think like this. And he, you know, like a big brother almost, but even my big brother wouldn't talk to me because he couldn't be so open with me because, you know, family member. And he would just tell it. So there's a reason they're there. And there's a reason for gay women. And there's a reason for trans. One thing we're now learning because of the trans men, they're telling us how lonely men are. Because now that they are men, they used to be women. And now they're men. And they say, you know, ever since, you know, I felt like a man my whole life. I transitioned to man because I wanted to, but I never knew it would be this lonely to be a man. One was on YouTube, but I've heard that a few times where women, we start to cry and we'll always find someone to feel sorry for us. If it's not our best friend, it's some random woman, but women are allowed to cry and feel bad. And we're not expected to be the strong one. You know, now we're allowed to be the strong one, but we're not expected to be. So it's still easier for us. And, you know, and this trans a trans man, now that he's a man, he said, you know, I am so lonely and I can't even reach, you know, stuff like that. So it's good to have people who have switched sexes and can make it open to, you know, make known to us maybe things that men themselves aren't able to express. Or women who have become men, or men who become, you know what I mean? There's a reason for everything. There's a reason why we have all kinds of different people in the world. That's why I'm sympathetic to the LGBTQ, because even though I'm a straight man, I believe the human, yeah, sympathetic, you know, like I said, two consenting adults, I really don't care. If they're not hurting anyone, and if they're adopting children and forming strong, safe households for children, even better. Because that's one of the things, you know, that people who are pro-life, one of the things they use against people who are pro-life, yeah, but, you know, you guys don't do anything about, which they actually do. Catholics do a lot of work with foster care and helping, you know, trying to get, but yeah, we don't usually vote for the government programs that help necessarily the single mothers and all that. So, you know, we do. If we're going to be saying you shouldn't be aborting your children, then we need to be number one in line, doing what we can to help raise those children or help the single mother, you know, which we do through the church, you know, food pantries and all that. But yeah, we need government help to some extent. But again, it can be abused also. But yeah, you need to kind of put your money where your mouth is. Because granted, if we're going to say pro-life, don't abort your child, then be there to help her raise the child, you know, or be there at least, if not you physically, which is what a godparent usually is. They're sort of the second mother or the second father, godparent. Yeah, so again, if a trans woman or trans men are allowed to be godparents, yay, you know, more people to help raise a child that may need help raising, or to be there if something, God forbid, happens to the parents. They have someone, rather than the child gets sucked into the foster care system. So, but yeah, we've got to get that part sorted out. We got to be more supportive of single mothers if we're going to be insisting, you know. Well, but see, the Catholics say, well, you're not supposed to be having sex before marriage. Then that would avoid it, you know, and we're against birth control. So that's why it's a little bit, we got to get that, you know, worked out. But what if my male spirit was born in a female body? Would I suddenly be attracted to men? Or still be attracted? You'd still be attracted to women. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine myself. See, I'm a cisgender heterosexual person, so I just can only imagine being in a woman's body liking boys or men, you know, boys when I was a little girl. But yeah, in nursery school, I remember having a crush on a little boy. And how old am I? 3 or 4. And I already had a crush on a little boy in my class. His name was Ted. Oh my gosh, I loved him. I even have a picture of him because at the end of the year, we had our graduation and he's in the picture right behind me. We were doing a play. And I always remember my first love was Ted. Ted, I don't even know his last name, a little blonde boy at nursery school. I would like try to be near him, and you know, we'd go outside to play, and I would try to be near him all the time. And you know, yeah, I can't imagine ever being attracted to anything but men. But yeah, who knows? Yeah, and I can't imagine. See, if I would have been born in a man's body, I think I would be a transsexual. I think I would probably try to, you know, convert to being a woman. I would feel trapped in the wrong body. But yeah, that's me speaking from my perspective. Anyway, all right. So there. So all of you who are, you know, judging Christians for being against LGBTQ, well, we're trying. I'm including myself. I accept LGBTQ, but if I'm going to be a part of the Christian community, we as a community are trying to reach towards the middle. And the Pope is standing up against other Catholics who are against what he's doing. So he's putting his neck out there, and I support him for that. And we'll work out the details, but give us time. And then, of course, the more liberal Christians are already there. They're already even accepting. Some churches are even accepting gay couples into their. I bet you, though, those Christian. I bet you that they're saying, "Be faithful." You know, two people, you know, they're not encouraging polygamy and all that. So they're still being, you know, strict in the sense of if you find one person and you're with that one person. If any, you know, the only Christian religion that I know of that used to accept polygamy was the Mormons, and they haven't accepted polygamy since 18 something. It used to be their religion, but Mormons are only monogamous now as well. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Sometimes easier said than done. Yeah. Anyway, so that's all I came on to talk about, and I went on a few tangents, but yeah, I think this is going to be the channel where people just come and try to understand more moderate views, you know, and then try to go. We're all moderates, I'm hoping, whether we're Christian, we may be more devout Christian, but we're open to trying to reach out to the other communities that think differently, and try to bring America. And if you're from another country, do it in your own country. All of us to kind of come to the middle. I'm going to try to draw my Christians, my more Orthodox Christians, a little bit towards here, and those of you who have extremely leftist friends maybe say, well, guys, come on, just because the Christians think like that, they're trying. Look, the Pope invited some transgender, you know what I mean? And so whatever, I guess that's what the channel will be. And that's why we have a very exclusive group, only 3 or 4 people. No, I have 1,000 followers, so I assume a lot of people are watching that don't even ever post or chat. But if you're listening to me, yeah, let's, don't judge people just because they're Republican, or, I used to judge Dems. I call them Dems. But now I realize that some Republicans are waking up a little bit, and some Democrats realize that the party might have, in some respects, gone way too far to the point where they've become contradictory. But I don't think those are Democrats anymore. Democrats were usually the moderate, level-headed ones in other times, and now they're just rioting all the time and destroying things and not making sense anymore. I used to be a Democrat until I started like that. I was like, what? But they're contradicting what, you know what I mean? Like, for example, with the LGBTQ, and I'm pointing it out, and I'm going way right online to try to get people angry and talking. So then maybe they find their way over here. If you're going to be for LGBTQ rights, how could you be supporting radical Islam? Islam, okay. Muslims, no issue with regular, moderate Muslims, who are secular. We need secularity in all governments. You cannot have a government run by a religion. Argentina used to be run by the Catholic religion. It's no longer. So, I think there are more Muslim countries that are run by the religion still. And I've met Muslims. I had one of my favorite bosses in my whole life, 2 of them. They were both Muslim at the World Bank, Pakistani men. And I liked them, and they were very respectful of me. And they, I assumed they were Muslim and they believer, and one of them would go to prayers and all that. I don't know if he prayed however many times a day you're supposed to, but he was very proud of his religion and would talk about it. And, I had never, that was my first exposure to the Muslim religion, and I liked him. And in hindsight, I didn't understand there were different degrees of Muslimanity, if that's a word. But I did meet him, and then I met another Muslim girl that I was friends with. And I felt more comfortable with my boss, who seemed, when he spoke of his religion, he spoke proudly of it, but he seemed more level-headed. And that girl I made friends with, and now I understood afterwards, years after I'm no longer in contact with either of them, that yes, some Muslims are more radical, and there are certain sects, I'm so careful when I say that word, of Muslim that is more like willing to live, to die, and kill for their religion. And then there's more moderate Muslims, just like we have moderate Christians that, we follow the general teachings, but we understand that government has to be secular. What shocked me about that girl was they had put the fatwa on Madonna, and I was a super Madonna fan. And she was my friend, and we went out to lunch, and we were in the United States. So I said, oh, she's, normal. I didn't realize that we had some radical Muslims in the US. And what surprised me was, well, 2 things, but the first thing was when we were eating, it was during Ramadan, so she had been fasting, but it was after sundown because we had stayed late at work, and so it was sundown. So then she was able to eat. So we finished work, and then we went out someplace to eat, and she ate halal, which I now know is called halal, but she ate all that, fine. And because I had known Jewish people my whole life who ate kosher, so same thing. So it wasn't shocking to me or whatever. But when I brought it up, because it was in the news in those few days about Madonna, and I don't remember which country had put the fatwa on her, I said, isn't that crazy what they're doing? You know, they want to kill Madonna if she ever goes to one of the Muslim countries. They're going to kill her. So I said something like that, and she said, "Well, yes, what she's doing is very horrible. She is something like she was talking. I don't remember exact words, but it was like, yeah, that's right. They better. You know, like it's correct. They should kill Madonna. She needs to be beheaded for the things she's doing." And at first, I thought she was joking. You know, we're eating and I was thinking to myself, oh, I think I might have even chuckled or something but then I realized she was serious. She really believed that if Madonna were beheaded, it would be okay because what she did. And then I was just like, you know, whatever, you know, I didn't push, but that like really shocked me that in the United States, and I was young, I was in my 20s, and I only lived in my little town, and then at college, you know, I hadn't been exposed to the larger world until I moved to Washington, D.C., where I met all kinds of people, and at the World Bank. So, you know, I kind of left it at that. And then, you know, I was still friends with her. I kind of just like, I realized she was serious, but you know how you're like in denial? So I was like, you know, whatever. I kind of like was in denial or something. I didn't know how to come to any kind of closure with it. And I liked her because she was a nice girl. So I kind of just let it go and didn't make anything more of it. But then she said a few other things that were less, you know, drastic as that. But we're kind of like, you know, are we in the United States? I was thinking to myself, you know, so she's, you know, probably today I lost touch with her. I didn't break the friendship or anything, but I stopped working at the bank. I moved and I kind of just lost touch with her. And today she's probably one of those people out there, you know, if she's still in the US, I don't know. And she probably believes that it's okay to kill all Jews. You know, I don't know. I lost touch with her. So that's all I'm saying. But I imagine she's fine with it, you know. But the other one, but see, here's the thing, pointing out how you have different levels of radicalism in Muslim in the United States, because then my boss would sometimes talk to me about Muslim and the religion, and he had daughters and stuff, and he explained something to me about the Muslim religion, how they are actually very feminist. They actually, the real, true Islam encourages women's rights and women's freedom and all that. And he explained it to me. I don't remember how he explained it, but it made sense. It was like, oh, that's true. You know, they do need some protection, of course. I actually agree with that. Women think that they can do anything sometimes, and then they realize, you know, I am a woman physically. They do need to be protected. Feminism is impossible without men protecting us, because the natural instinct of a man is to own women. Again, the caveman instinct is that the men are in charge and we own our women, you know, and to have many women, that's the natural instinct that we're supposed to be resisting as civilized people. So that's kind of the feeling I got was, yeah, women do have a right to do what they want and to study and to get educated. You know, he sounded very, but kind of the way he explained it, it kind of sounded like, but they need to be protected. And, you know, he's right. Maybe at the time I was like, well, you know, but we do. A 20-something-year-old woman, because she was born in the US where women are free, we forget that tomorrow, if every man in the world decided that we don't have rights, our rights are gone, because physically they're more powerful than we are. So if we don't have men protecting our freedom, we don't have freedom. And let's recognize that. And it doesn't mean that it's right, you know. But again, thank goodness we live in a secular society where, you know, we have passed laws to protect women and we follow those laws. And, you know, but in the non-secular places, they pass the laws that say women have to dress like this and they have to cover themselves. And you have different levels of radicalism in you know, for example, I don't know much about the Arab world. I'll just say what I know. In the Arab Emirates, women are more free. You know, they in some of them, I think, is it Qatar or Dubai? I don't know. Some of you know more than I do. You know, but in some parts of Islam, women are allowed to wear hijab if they want to, and if they don't want to, they can take it off. Iran used to be like that. But I started talking about Muslim and I don't even know much. So I used to consider sometimes easier something they used to be the anti-war, the anti-censorship. Yeah, I guess I'm neither, because I don't want to say I'm Republican. I guess it's like, oh my gosh, Republican. Like that was like a dirty word when I was young, or at least for people who were for women's rights. And although I've always been on the fence about abortion, I've always kind of fallen towards pro-choice after, when all is said and done. I reluctantly went pro-choice, but but it was, to me, to be called a Republican was the worst insult. And now it's not an insult anymore to me. I mean, if I'm mistaken for a Republican, I'm sort of like, well, that's okay. I'd rather be mistaken for a Republican than a Democrat today. I'm really nothing. I kind of wish we'd have someone with logic. And, and actually, as far as what's going on now, Biden's doing his best. I don't think he's got the strength. He's an old man and he's already kind of feeble. There are men his age that are a little stronger. I don't think his head is there. And I actually believe, some are saying that some have the conspiracy theory or whatever, that Obama is really telling him what to do from behind the scenes. So Obama's really truly the president, which is fine if that's what it is. But I'd rather than it really be Obama as president, not Biden pretending to be Obama. But if that's what's happening. But no, I think what he's doing for Israel, the Israel-Palestine conflict is good. He's doing, I feel him weakening a little, but, granted, he's got to please a lot of people. He's in a very divisive society today, and he's trying to please a lot of people, which he should be. A president is supposed to be thinking about all Americans, not just one side. So I think as much as I've made fun of Biden and this and that and the other, he or whoever is running him, let's say if it's not him, I think they're doing what they can. And, I support, again, because of what I've seen in Islam, it's a little bit, especially Hamas is a little too extreme. And I just don't see what other choice we have right now. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. It's a very divisive issue. The hostages are being let go. There's a ceasefire temporarily. Let's hope this gets resolved, not as many more people die, and that's basically it. But yeah, the president right now has got, and we're not even in the war. It's not even we're not involved yet, as far as we're sending arms and whatever to the Israelis. But, hopefully we don't get any more involved than just kind of trying to appease. But whether we want to or not, United States is going to get involved. We're the democracy of the world still, that people look to. We may lose that status at some point soon, especially with BRICS, as I'm saying. But no, but look, I even see Russia and China stepping cautiously. I'm going to be out there saying the extreme, to get people talking. But I see President Xi. I even see Putin stepping cautiously with their words. I don't think they want it to explode. Now, Putin wouldn't mind it exploding. He doesn't want it to. But if it's going to benefit him eventually, he might not mind it exploding. But I don't think China wants it to explode into World War III. I don't think South Africa does. I'm talking about the BRICS countries. India, I don't know. I don't believe they do. Saudi Arabia is kind of on our side, in quotes. They're in BRICS, But Saudi Arabia is, have horrible things there. I don't think their government is secular, but they're kind of more modern. These are just the feelings I get. Women in Saudi Arabia can drive now, for example. I believe Saudi Arabia, that fat prince that I can't stand, but even him, they're trying to stick with the 21st century. It's okay, women can drive, and I don't think they're required to wear hijab, or maybe they are, but it's not as like the stuff where they're covered from head to toe and they can't show any skin, you know. It's more, and so we'll see. Hi, Desmond. Oh, I'm just wrapping up now. So I think, you know, I'm thinking this is going to be World War III. We've got the Ukraine-Russia thing. Now, what I see Putin doing is trying to push the Ukraine thing, because we've got a direct conflict. The United States, if we're supporting Israel, we need to be supporting Ukraine. And Putin knows that. If we're supporting Hamas, we would logically be supporting Putin, which, see, this is why the logic of the left is so, they don't make connections at all. Yeah. Zelensky is Jewish, just that alone. But aside from that, let's say he weren't, you know, you just start making the connections, you know. So this could very well be World War III, and World War III is going to be between, if it goes to that, and we're starting to be forced to choose sides, it's going to be Russia. It's all the BRICS countries are going to side. Saudi Arabia is going to, maybe, since they're a strong country, they're going to try to not stay. They're going to try to stay neutral, which is to our benefit, hopefully. But again, if push comes to shove, and you got to pick sides. Saudi Arabia is going to pick the side of Russia, Hamas, Iran. They're Muslims. I mean, what do you expect? If you're forced to, you got to pick a side, and one side has to wipe out the other side. The only way to resolve a world war, one side has to obliterate the other side, like what we did to Japan, the Nazis. You know, a lot of people died. A lot of Nazis died. A lot of people from the other side died in World War II, way more than our side, the winning side. Winning, you know, if the Germans and the Nazis would have won, then today Israel wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be having a problem, maybe, or we'd be having other problems. But this is, for some of us, the verge of World War III, and for some, it's the verge of the great holy war that everyone's expecting. The Arabs have been waiting for this holy war their whole life. They can't wait to get out there and start killing. They don't care. They're like the kamikaze pilots of Japan in World War II. Japan didn't do it for religion. They did it for honor. But it's the same thing, that honor of dying. And your death causes the killing of many of the enemy. There's a certain honor. You know, when you think that dying is an honor, nothing will stop you. Or in the case of radical Islamists, dying for Allah is the best thing you could ever do. You'll be held as a hero. You'll be gone, but everyone will hail you as a hero. You'll be given all these benefits when you go to, I guess it's heaven. I don't know where they believe they go to, you know, and whether it's true or not, they think it's true. And then World War III, the only way is to obliterate the other side, the innocent and the guilty, and start over, like what we did to Japan. We bombed them 3 times with atomic bombs, completely flattened the country, and started over. And we're friends with Japan now. There you go. In one generation, we're friends with them again. And that's what, unfortunately, if it leads to World War III, likely Israel will get obliterated. And there goes democracy in the Middle East, because they are the only true democracy in the Middle East. So, you know, just think before you start jumping out there with your Palestinian flags, and realize that you're supporting radical Islam. Okay, I got to stop talking. And you Muslims, again, I'll appeal to the Muslims there who are moderate. You know, start reining in your radical friends. I'm trying to work on my Christians here, but we're not out there, you know, hanging gays and stuff. You know, so yeah, I lean towards Israel, and when push comes to shove, if I'm forced to choose, I will choose Israel. Okay, I'll be honest about that. I hope it doesn't come to that. I'd like to make people realize that World War III is here. I mean, it started. We can stop it, you know, but World War III has started. This Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine under Hamas, because Palestine under a more moderate government could form a two-state solution, but women need to be more liberated in Palestine. Yeah, maybe I made some people mad, but okay. So I'm going, guys, and I smell some food cooking. My brother's probably going to come over soon with his wife for leftovers. It's about 1:00 here, so and oh, I'm not even on the camera anymore. Okay, see you guys. I've been blah blah blahing, and I went off on a tangent again. So okay, bye. What should we call ourselves? We'll call ourselves not the Ramble Scramblers, but we're a militia of love. We're the love militia. We're going to try to draw all of our extremist friends towards the middle. Just a little, just like a notch. You don't have to work miracles. Just if they're saying, like, for example, my Catholic friends, many of them don't like the Pope right now because this Pope is reaching out to the LGBT community, which is the first time a Pope has ever done that in our religion. So I'm talking to my Christian friends that are more radical. They don't agree with murdering. They don't agree with executing gays. But, they're like, oh, they need to be rejected from the church. And I'm reminding them, is that what Jesus would do? Would Jesus reject someone because they're confused, let's say, even if I don't agree with that? But you have to appeal to people on their own terms. Like, I may not agree. I think LGBT gay people are just normal people that I don't take it as, but if my friends are saying, well, our religion says that this, I'll remind them, okay, well, yeah, they're this, they're that, they're mentally ill, but remember, what would Jesus do? Would he judge them and reject them, or would he have taken them in and shown them love and hope that they found Jesus and went on the right path? So reach out to your friends on their terms, on what their beliefs are. That's really the only way. You can't tell them, oh, you have to think like me, because it's not going to work. But remind them, however, if you're Muslim, use whatever you know about the Muslim religion to remind them, well, is killing gays the right thing, or beheading Madonna, for example? I wouldn't have. Now, if I had known more about the Muslim religion, I still don't see where in the Muslim religion there's no violence, though. I mean, I've been looking on Google. Google is not, the be all end all of information, but everything I read in the Quran is saying murder gay, not murder. They need to be stoned or beheaded or whatever. And I don't know. So maybe I'm missing something. I probably am, because when I hear Islam is the religion of peace, I hear that often. I just don't know where they get that from. And I hope I do find that, so I can start using that to explain to any Muslims that I meet. Well, but doesn't the Quran say this, that you have to love? And, it's easy for Christianity because, oh, what would Jesus do? Yeah, well, yeah, he would not be doing things, so. All right. Bye, everyone. See you. I'm talking too much as usual. Where am I at? Where are you at? It sounds like my godson. I wish I am in Lexington, Massachusetts for a couple of days. I came up here for Thanksgiving. My parents are here for a while. My parents love it up here. So I came with my baby girl. Oh, let me say goodbye the right way. And yeah, we're going back to Florida for a while, and then I got to figure out what to do with my life. I applied for online work. Does anyone know what data annotation is? That's what I applied to, a company called Data Annotation. And I don't know what it is, but I filled in the form, and I had to write a few paragraphs. You have to be able to write properly in English, and if you have another language, but I don't know and it has something to do with AI. So we'll see. And supposedly if they accept me, I can work remotely from wherever I am. So that would be awesome, and theoretically they pay well. I'm just going by the advertisement. It popped up on my Facebook page. So, and now anyway, I applied. If I get it, then I'll tell you more about it, because maybe some of you would be interested. Where you annotate data. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something about AI, artificial intelligence. I mean, I know a little bit, but I don't know. So All right. But I'll let you know if they accept me, then I'll know even more about what I'll be doing. You accept projects. Now, I used to work for something way ago, like years ago in the early 2000s. I forget what it was called, where you would write short articles for this company, and then your articles would pop up in a search, but then they just cut us off all of a sudden. Like we were writing these articles, you get $15 an article. So, I would only do like one article a week because I'm not that great at writing, but it was not, difficult. You did the research and you wrote the article and they edited it for you. And then you'd get paid $15 once the article was accepted. They would send it back, you got to rewrite this part. It wasn't just you write anything. It was work. But then one day they said, okay, well, bye guys. That's it. It's over. And so, so like I was making $15 and I was living in Argentina at the time. So it was awesome. $15 was worth a lot. And anyway, so that was that. Yeah, and people were actually living off of that. Like people would write a few articles a day. I was doing it kind of make a little money, and then like they were like, but wait, well, why? Because there was a chat where we could all chat. And what are you talking about? What do you mean? And then they accepted a few people that could continue writing for them, but they were just, and there was no. It was a pay per thing, pay per project. So there was no obligation for them to keep us on. We weren't employees or anything. So it was cool. What was that called? I forget. And some of my articles are still on there. Anyway, okay. So this might be something like that. I flew. Yeah, and she did okay on the trip. She stayed under the seat. I put her in a little bag, a little carry bag, and put her under the seat and have to pay excess baggage because she's excess baggage. You'd think they would just let me take her as the carry-on and not take our carry-on, but no, we have to pay. Not fair. In the old days, before 9/11, I had another little dog, and I would travel everywhere with him. I wouldn't pay. I wouldn't declare him. I would just walk on as a carry-on baggage. But after 9/11, they started getting stricter, and you had to pay. And I understand for security reasons. And so it was less. I would still travel with them, but I had to, make sure it was more expensive. And now they charge her as extra luggage. My baby girl, I love her so much, though. She's being better. I started taking her to PetSmart training, way on my tangent. She's just getting trained to not be food aggressive, and she's a little better. She's only been to one. I have 8 sessions. It was going to be 4 sessions, 4 1-hour sessions, but she's got her neurological disorder and everything. So we're going to do 8 half-hour sessions. So I have to be back. Her next session is on December 2nd. We're skipping a couple, and then the guy's going on vacation. But I'm sticking to what he taught me, some little techniques, and she's got a long way. And but I'm satisfied already. I see improvement. She's not attacking the minute she sees the food. She's, oh, hello there, Daddy. I'm coming. Everyone came to have lunch. So but thank you guys for stopping in. Okay, he's telling me go eat. Okay, bye. I'm gonna go. She growls. Yes, she growls, but I can put the food down on the ground, and she watches. And then she's coming. And then when I walk, but if I'm nearby, she growls. So, I'd like her to just not be scared. She has to realize we're not going to take the food from her. Or if we do take it away for some reason, there's a reason and we'll give it back to her. So, she's 2 years old. So she's got a lot of unlearning to do. But we never restricted food from her. So they're thinking it was something that came up again because she wasn't doing it. She was a puppy. She had to fight for her food with her litter mates because she was disabled. But then when I got her, she was fine. I would feed her and everything was fine. But at some point, something's triggered it again. So now she's gotten very protective of her food. But yeah, she still growls, but she's you know, and I'm supposed to be trying to feed her from my hand, which I did with the guy there, and she was doing okay. But at home, she started growling, and I'm terrified, so I'm not doing that part, you know. You know, there's a clicker. You know, you use a clicker, and then you give her the food, and she learns to associate the clicker with the food, and realize that it's a good thing, you know. And if she growls, you're supposed to be very calm and not respond, you know. But I am so terrified she's going to grab my hand again. So I kind of didn't continue that part of the training, but I'm still doing other parts of it. So yeah, we just have to de-traumatize her from the food and make her realize that we're not the enemy, that we're going to feed her, and, you know. And she's a little better with the kibble. Kibble isn't as tasty. But I like to mix her kibble with yummy things, you know. So, but no, we're doing good. And even with the kibble, she's a little bit of a bad girl. So, all right, we're gonna go have lunch, and she's smelling the food, and I guess we'll do a little. I gotta put closed-toe shoes on. I'll remind my family. I'm hungry, you guys. Okay, bye, Owen Cash. Maybe you want to, yeah, anyone who wants to come on sometime. I would love to do more collaboration, people coming on and either interview or do what Josh and I did with the candy. That was fun. Anyone who wants to come on and do a candy attack together, those are fun. That was fun. Any new candy, because I'm always getting the gummies, but yeah, some kind of new candy from that I've never tried before. If you want to try it on here with me, that might be fun. Okay, see you, cool beans. Cool beans. All right, I don't know what that's in reference to. Oh, you know, almost 2 hours. I better get going. Okay, bye. Bye, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.